Hello, movie friends, and welcome to There Will Be Movie Reviews. I am your host, Ryan Holmes, as always. And today with me, I have the great Bambino Cole Daxon. Cole, say
That's
hi
right,
to
everybody.
everyone.
It's
It's
me. I'm
Cole.
back.
He's back. Cole.
We're doing this. You guys ready for this? We're doing American Psycho today. I am excited for this one, personally.
I know, yeah, this guy's a big fan of American Psycho.
It's unironic. Like I don't like the clips and stuff, like the clips of like in the edits of like Sigma male or anything. But that movie is just so good. Like it's definitely one of my favorites.
Well, I had seen it before. I had seen it when I during like COVID sometime, and I watched it, and I don't know. I don't think I understood it. I think I didn't realize it was a satire, so I thought it was all serious. So it was like stupid me being like, "Oh, this movie's just misogynistic," and I don't know, just which it is though. But
Oh
that's
yeah, it
that's
is.
a
100% it is.
but I didn't realize that was part of the satire. It's directed by a female, so and I think I don't know if it's written by a female, but I know it's directed and the script was written by a female as
I'm pretty
well.
sure the book was written by a lady.
Hmm. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So, she can say whatever she wants. So cool. How's life been for you the last little bit? Let's let the audience know
Life,
let's let the audience know what's going on. What are you up to these days?
just working.
Yeah.
Just
Working?
working and trapping. You know,
What work you been doing?
I'm a lifeguard.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's very
What's
neat.
what's happening here?
Well, I want the audience to know what you're doing right now. What's Cole been up to? So there you go. I guess that segment didn't work, but maybe we'll try it in another episode. Cole's not doing too much in his life, I guess.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not that I'm not doing too much in my life. I just feel I work, I go to the gym,
Yeah.
haven't been able to play as many video games, been watching a lot of Family Guy
Yeah.
and hang out with the boys on the weekends. That's what I've been up to, audience.
That's the way she goes. That is the way she goes.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah. All right. Well, let's get right into this discussion of American Psycho. American Psycho is directed by Mary Harron, written by Bret Easton Ellis. Mary Harron also was a co-writer of this film, and let me not butcher this name, Janavar Turner. I think that's pretty
I
smooth.
that sounds like you butchered it. That sounds like a butcher job.
Janavar
No.
Juniveri Turner. That sounds as best as I can. Stars Christian Bale, Jared Leto, two absolute sigmas.
Absolute Sigmas.
Yes, two ultra gods: Chloe Sevigny, Reese Witherspoon, and William Dafoe. In this film. Uh, the film we see is a very, very interesting film. And at the time of its release was slightly controversial because of its themes and how vulgar and misogynistic it was. And I don't think at the time people realized it was satirical because it was based off a book and then was re-released or released into a film. But now it's gained a lot more popularity than I think it did when it was first released. It was a film. It was popular. People saw it. It was in the theaters. It's Christian Bale. Christian
What year
Bale,
did it come out?
1999 came out. Actually, no,
Jeez.
2000, I think. 2000. Yeah. Actually,
Nice way to start off the century.
American Psycho. Yeah. And
Or the wait, is it longer? It gotta be longer than a century.
yep, it would have been or millennial
Oh yeah,
and
the new
century. Yeah.
Millennium Party.
And yeah, so but yeah, this film it centers around the character of Patrick Bateman, who is I think he works at a law firm. I'm gonna assume it's like or like a
I don't even know what he
I think
does.
he's like a stockbroker. Well, that's part
Something
of
like
the
that.
movie. It's like you don't really know. He just it's and that's part of the this
You know
satire
why
of
we
this
don't
film.
know? You know why we don't know? Because it doesn't even matter to Patrick. It doesn't matter to him.
That's it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter to Patrick. It doesn't matter to anyone. And we'll get into that because there are a lot of cool things I want to talk about this film because second
Oh
time
yeah.
viewing this, I understand it a lot more, and there's a lot more things I saw in this film. But going back to the concept and discussion about how it's become more popular with young males, especially,
Oh
and
yeah,
this
it's
film,
weird.
and maybe not a good thing, because I think some people might not see this. They will see it as a satire, but be like, I want to kind of be like Patrick Bateman, absolutely yoked, treat women with
Just
disrespect.
yoked.
Yeah,
Treat women with disrespect, get paid,
yeah.
and murder people.
That's like the thing. It's like people, like guys, I feel like they love like characters like Jordan Belford and like and like
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really feel Jordan Belfort that much. Like
neither
I
do
like that
I,
movie,
but like
but like
you can see people like who have like the flags with Jordan Belford on it, and
yeah, I guess so.
Sigma males like Christian Bale from American Psycho. But why do you think
Yep.
that is like a popular thing among young adults? Why do you think that, like, because this movie became more popular like in recent times? Like you see all the memes and shit. You obviously know it's more popular.
I think it's just an interesting piece of work for a developing mind to see with all the social media that's here nowadays as opposed to before.
Mhm.
Clips of it are just being like spread around. Like, whoa, look at this crazy thing. And then people were like, oh my God, I this guy, he's a badass.
Yeah,
Like
because
the
they'll see a
little
line. Yeah, they'll see a line where he's like, "Why is it impossible? You
yeah,
stupid bastard!" It's like there's
yeah.
or what does he say? Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's like that's like one of my favorite
Have a
lines.
holly jolly Christmas.
Yeah,
So good.
that was like my favorite. Yeah, but all right. Well, I'll ask you this then. What do you like about this movie so much? What just give me a small sample of an example why you like this film so much, or why you like it.
First of all, Patrick Bateman, incredibly interesting character.
Hmm.
Second of all, incredibly written film. Everything is written so well. The mystery, the kind of you're just dropped into this world and you're following Patrick Bateman's. Well,
Yeah,
as I was saying where you don't know where he works and it's because he doesn't care. It's because the whole movie follows Patrick's
your
just the
mind,
only thing he
his
cares about.
mind.
It's and like you wouldn't remember your days of work. You'd be thinking, well, hold on, where am I going with this?
But he doesn't remember his days of work because
Yeah,
he
no,
doesn't care
it
about his
doesn't.
job. He doesn't
It
care
doesn't
about
show it to us because he doesn't care about his job. It's only showing us the things that he really has a passion for, like fucking murdering people.
and
That's
another
a
thing,
story about him
and
murdering people
sex and music and
and sex and music and
yeah.
yeah,
And
just
that's
strange things.
you're absolutely right.
Lying to people. It's
Well,
just like so
let's get into a
narcissistic,
discussion
insane.
about his character, because his character is interesting to me, because I think there's more of a side to him that is he's actually a like very pathetic person. Like he's just honestly more insecure.
Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
needs the self like what's the word? Like he needs the self-confidence by looking at himself in the mirror when he's having sex, looking at his muscles. He needs that like confirmation and
Yeah.
security when he and fulfillment when he's with people and around people. And you see he kind of, I don't want to talk about this right now because it's about like kind of the ending, but he obviously is a person that just is almost forgotten. Like people just don't really care
Yeah.
about him that much, and that maybe that's part of his imagination.
Because of his social walks that he has on himself, where his only care is just being like the most powerful guy. He's got all the money, he's got muscles, he's got women,
Mhm.
he's just trying to get everything. And then at the certain point, everything goes to being able to like kill and
Mhm.
not think about it and just like not even care what he's just insane. He's just a
Yeah.
lunatic.
Mhm. Well,
He's just fucked.
it's a very
And
interesting
he just wants power. He just wants power and to
because
fit in.
yeah. Well, there's so many awesome scenes in this, especially the director that uses to show that his outer image is completely different from his inside image. Even when at the beginning of the film, when he's walking into work and he has a serious face, he's got the headphones on, and he's listening to "Walking on Sunshine." Like that shows that he sits in his office with glasses on to not show his true self and not to show his true who he truly is. He is constantly only cares about the um the aesthetics of a working class man in corporate New York City in the 80s. And that's a heavy theme of this film, is the corporate aesthetic and like the corporate greed of society in the 80s, and how you don't even care about the actual business that you're doing, and you care more about the how you look and how you present yourself, and not even care about the business that you're doing, because that's like the main sort of satire of this film and a big theme of the film. And Christian Bale's character perfectly replicates the essence of like just a horrible corporate douchebag, I feel like, and the people around him too.
But with a dark secret. That's the
Yeah.
thing about him, is that he's slipped off the edge.
And he thinks he's different, but to other people, he's just not. Like that's
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not at all to other people.
And that's the thing, because you could be a massive killer and you're like, nobody cares. That's what's a cool thing about this movie.
Yeah, and the whole thing about Bateman's character specifically is he's doing these things, he's killing these people so that he can feel more powerful, more in control of the things. He trains himself how to be able to murder people and get away with it. And he's just going further and further into his insanity as he just cuts himself off from everybody else. He doesn't have genuine conversations with people ever. It's all like things like that. He just locks himself off from the world and begins to rot inside. Getting a little pleasure from things he can, like lying to people gives him a thrill. Killing people gives him a thrill. Music, being able to look in the mirror and go, "Oh my god, I'm like the ideal body. I'm having sex with all these women," and he just locks himself off. You know what that's exactly like? The Wall by Pink Floyd. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I bet you he's a fan of The Wall. Probably. I'm sure he.
I think so.
Maybe he really likes the groovy music. He likes Hip to Be Square and Phil Collins, Whitney Houston. Like, yeah. I have a question for you though, because the first scene is really, really important. I think it's a very cool introduction to his character, where he's not even discussing anything about himself. He's discussing about his routine in the morning and how he his everyday routine that he focuses. And I have a question for you, because you obviously have a good understanding of the film. And what do you think that scene it really means? And what do you think that scene's really about? Because it's an introduction to his character, and I think there's more to it.
Well, I think I don't know if there's more to it necessarily, but I think that the placement of it, I think it's more the placement of it that has meaning. To me, it feels like, because we don't know too much about Patrick at this point, we don't know that he's going to kill people, or other than like, the movie name and stuff. I just think it's treating us like just another person, except showing us his human side, except we get to see super into Patrick's life. We're just like an outside person looking in, but right inside to Patrick, not inside to anything around him. That's why the whole movie is, it's just about him. It's just about his perspective on everything. It's because the movie has us looking into him. And the first thing that we see is this guy who just has a routine. A little weird, a little bit of a weird guy.
It just shows how much he cares about his image. Exactly. Like, that's the only thing he cares about, his image. His image. That's the point of the scene. Yeah.
And that's like what he conveys throughout the whole movie, is that all that matters to him is his image. So it's just giving us like the perfect introduction to Bateman's character, I think.
Well, it's a really good introduction. That's something that's I give a hand to the director for that, because the intro is really good. It has the first scene where they're basically just talking bullshit, being like douchebags, and he's at like a club, or not a club, but like at like a little bar area in like maybe a hotel, I think, with his coworkers, and you see how they talk, and how they talk and how they interact with people, and then you get an understanding of Patrick Bateman. I think that's like the perfect introduction to his character. I think that's got to be, it's a perfect intro, and then it's a perfect a example of who he is. And then there's another scene though in the beginning where he's talking to the bartender, and then he says to her, he says, I don't know, I think it's like, "I want to rip your fucking head off," or something like that. He says something to her, and she just doesn't acknowledge it. And that's that's another important aspect, is like,
oh yeah, that that puts an interesting immediate twist on things. You kind of get a
Hmm.
weird vibe from that. Why didn't she
Hmm.
respond? But
Hmm.
then, you think, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. Like it's no big deal. Why'd she not respond? A
Hmm.
couple scenes later, completely, you know,
Hmm.
that's it.
Another good thing that the director does, and I really like this, is how subtle she is um with the satire in this. There is no like indication or like, with the camera sometimes is the best narrator. That's like what you kind of are taught, is like the camera is the best way of narrating a film. And so the sequence that I really think is just totally awesome and so subtle is where they're showing the cards to each other. It's basically like a who's got the biggest dick competition. It's kind of alphaing each other up, and I find it so interesting because uh like that's the only care that they have in their life, and
No, no, not everybody thinks like that. Not everybody's thinking like, oh my God, this is crazy. But there's one person who
oh, you're
is.
right,
There's
you're
one
right.
person who's thinking that. Everybody else is just like, well, nice card. But they're not looking at it, picking it up and sweating and going, oh my God, it even has a watermark. So,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
you're
see, even just talking about it, it's so ridiculous, so silly.
but
He's
the
looking
first
at a
time I saw
business
it
card
though,
and freaking out.
there's no indication that it's comedy though. There really isn't. Like, other than the line, it's the dialogue itself, because you just know by the dialogue. It's ridiculous. If it was like something completely different, like if they did something other than business cards, like, I don't know, like it doesn't matter, like computers or something like that, like it would seem different. But since it's business cards and they look the exact same,
Just the most minute thing, business
yeah,
cards.
I know, and so they care about it so much, and that's another part of the theme about the corporate just ideology, like about how it's just ridiculous, and how they care more about just style and aesthetic more than they do actual business. And I said that before, but it's a reoccurring theme that continues throughout the film, which is always good for a movie. You can agree that themes in a film are what make a movie great. I feel like if there's
Yeah,
underlying themes that little trails of breadcrumbs throughout movies are always interesting.
yeah. I feel like this one more so isn't as breadcrumby. It's more like bread slicey, I feel like, because Patrick Bateman just straight up goes like, I want to fit in. Like he just straight up says it. And that's like these are the themes that we're talking about. People
Yeah.
fitting into the business world, just keeping up to that social norm. And that's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants to do. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's mostly the theme. So when he says that, I feel like it doesn't make it as subtle, but for the most part of the movie, it's still pretty subtle.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's strange to see how that's his mindset and the things he thinks and does to get there.
that's true.
Ridiculous.
Well, I was gonna say there's a one scene in particular where I guess he just completely goes off and sort of transitions. His character transitions from like this, like he needs to just express his need to kill in Paul Allen, because he has this stress of jealousy over him like crazy, which is a big turning point in the film, I think, and it's
Oh
one of
yeah.
the best scenes in the movie, I think, as well. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
I think that is like one of the coolest scenes. And I want to ask you, what do you think the use of music is? It's like I think the use of music and like his description is a way of showing his passion, is like a translation for him using that to as a I'm trying to think how to word this. When I see him like using that big description and having that big
What big
discussion
description?
of the song by Huey Lewis and the News,
Oh, like when he's talking about
I
like,
think that is
oh,
almost I think that's almost him like saying like that passion is like the same passion that he has for killing and murdering. So when he's talking about that, it just seems like he's not talking about music. He really, in his mind, he's just talking about how much he wants to fucking kill this guy and absolutely harm him. And that's like a big turning point and an important part of the film, I think. Would you not agree?
I would definitely concur, Ryan.
Let's hear. I want to hear what you think of that scene, because I know you've talked about it, or you've said the lines and you know the lines very well. And What do you like
Uh,
about it?
well, I just really, first of all, it's just by far the most thrilling scene in the movie.
Uh-huh.
You know, like it's the craziest. I feel
It's the
like it's
best
the
acting.
craziest part. Best acting in the movie, craziest scene, just so crazy to see like how good Patrick Bateman is, like how bad he is, like
Yeah.
but good, like good psychopath, like crazy psychopath
He's
acting,
good at
like
being
by
bad. Yeah.
Christopher Bale. Yeah, he's good at being bad. Yeah, like he's so happy. Like as soon as he gets Paul Allen out to dinner and drunk, you can see like he's like right before we cut to the scene, he goes, "Another martini, Paul," because
Hmm.
he knows like he's won. He set out to kill this guy tonight. He got him to come out to dinner with him. He's got the name. What's he make his name to? Marcus something.
Yeah, it's Marcus something.
Marcus Halberstrom.
Yeah.
That dickhead Marcus Halberstrom. He does the exact same thing I do.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then so he's like, okay, I got the alias, I got the alias, I got this guy drunk, I got him back in my house, and then he's like, all right, let's listen to some Hip to Be Square and get a bogey going. And he's like, it's just so crazy.
It
He just
is.
treats it as like just a little like game, you know, it's just a hobby for him. It's just one of his greatest hobbies that brings him a lot of passion. And
Yeah.
it's just all displayed. And I like the dinner scene too. I like the dinner scene where we see Patrick Bateman change into this passionate Bateman we see before he kills Paul Allen, because he's like, okay, here we go. Like it's happening. And you can kind of see he's
Yeah.
not he's not hiding too much in that scene. Or he's like you can tell he's feeling good behind his act for Paul at the dinner scene. And then that right before the scene where Patrick drives an axe into Paul Allen's head, just crazy.
Hmm.
It's just got to
Well,
be the best scenes in the
well,
movie.
I have a question for you about his killing and murdering. Do you think this was his because we don't get an understanding if he has killed people. Actually, I assume he has, but like, do we get an indication? I know he killed the homeless guy. That he killed the homeless guy before he killed Paul Allen.
And
Do
the
you think
dog.
and the dog? Do you think before that he has killed people, or do you think like he got like a little taste for it when he killed the homeless man because he saw the homeless man? He's like, "You're a
Well, it
worthless,
says they say
worthless
in the
piece
movie.
of shit." Yeah.
They
Okay.
say in the movie that he's killed before. You know,
Okay.
they're like he's like killed like 30, 40 people. You
Well,
know?
there could have been time in between that where he's killed a lot of people though too, because it happens. Because again, we do see him kill quite a few people, or like we see him kill the two prostitutes. We see him kill the guy in the hotel. We see him kill the guy on the street, the homeless man, multiple people. I think he killed Louis. I think his name was or Lewis. I think
No, he didn't.
you don't think
No,
he
he
did.
didn't. Because he put his hands around Lewis's leg, and Lewis turned around, Patrick, and then he
Oh,
kissed him, and then he was like, and he was washing his hands, and then he just left. He got absolutely destroyed by Lewis.
Well, the thing is though, because when he's talking to his lawyer on the phone at the end of the film, when all the helicopters are around and he's in his office, he says, I don't want to say the word, but he says like the slur for a gay guy. And so I assume that's what I assume, because he says like he specifically says, I killed a F, and then
Yeah,
so
but
I
I don't
assume
think he was.
that.
I think he was talking about Paul Allen.
You think
I
so?
don't
No,
know.
no, no, he wasn't talking about Paul Allen, because he says, and I killed Paul Allen.
I
So
killed Paul Allen.
yeah. So yeah, that was the interesting. That was like it's one of the best scene, got to be the best scene. And then after that, it leads up to just the destruction and the fall of Patrick Bateman, I guess you could say. And
Yeah, because excuse me. After we're shown other things in the movie, like him talking to that woman and her not reacting, and I think it may have happened another time too. He goes, "I'm utterly insane. Did you know I like to dissect girls?" Something like that. And then he also says, like, "You're a stupid bitch" or something to that lady.
yeah,
So we're
have a
shown
holly jolly
those.
Christmas. Yeah, I love
we're
that line.
shown
There was a point.
What?
There's a point. Sorry, there's a point in this where I like got the like Dwight Schrute like Sheldon Cooper vibe off of him. Like
Yeah.
he gives that. I don't know. Like there's just this scene where like they put the unicorn or the reindeer ears on antlers on him, and then he's just like like just doesn't. He's like doesn't even realize it, and it kind of shows. He's just like totally just not there. He says it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
gonna say something. Yeah.
Um, fuck. Oh,
Sorry.
right. No, no, no. So when he talks to these people and they don't respond to him, it just kind of hints at something, and then you kind of think, again, like you kind of think, oh, okay, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And then you get to this scene and you see all the shit that he does. And then you see the very end where it's just so strange. It makes you think, oh shit, Patrick Bateman. We're seeing Patrick Bateman completely go insane right now and start
Mhm.
like imagining things.
Mhm.
But then you look at the things that happen and you think, you know, could it could his lawyer have gotten that message and covered up everything for him? You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So should we go to the end of the movie
I
right now
want
or
to, I
not
want to,
yet?
I want to wait a little because, dude, no, I definitely want to talk about that, but I
Okay,
want to
yeah, yeah.
build it up for the audience. But I do have a problem with the film though. There's a couple of things because I don't think it's a perfect movie, and I think there are things that I did not
Yeah,
like about it,
yeah.
like any movie. Um, I think the first half of the film is really, really compelling. I think it's really good. Like the entire time, I'm like invested in it, invested in what Patrick Bateman's doing. I'm just fascinated by his character and what he does. But that by the second half, there are many, many scenes I think that are too long. The scene where he's with the prostitutes and he like cuts them up and we don't see it, but that entire sequence, it's it is long, but it's important,
Yeah,
but it's too long, I think.
it
And
feels like it feels like for how long it is, it should have added more.
should have added more. And there's just a lot of scenes where he's just like he was talking about Phil Collins to them for like the longest time. And then there's like, yeah, it's just like it's too
Oh, well,
long of
that's
a
just
build.
what I think that is I think, again, not saying that it still isn't too long because I'm comparing it to the Paul Allen scene here. Let's compare it to the Paul Allen scene
Yeah.
because sex and dominating these women is just another one of his things that gives him passion and
It's his
pleasure, which is
pleasure.
what
It's a
is
pleasure. Yeah.
which is what is like, shown side by side when we see him talking about Huey Lewis and then talking about Phil Collins, the prostitutes. It's to draw a parallel between the two.
Hmm.
So if you look at it that way, it's a little more important, yes. But the Paul Allen scene was so much more thrilling and also a lot shorter. It was maybe
Hmm.
2 minutes, the whole restaurant and going back to Patrick's apartment.
No, yeah, it was pretty short, and I think that would have been if that was a build up too, because like it would have been interesting to see the build up of that character and of like him about to just like fully commit to this murder because it does happen quickly. They go to dinner for like talk for like 2 minutes, and then they go to his house, and right away he
The
starts
setup's beginning.
setups beginning. And I would have liked like we saw like another example of like just this murder sequence like slowly happening is Dahmer. I think Dahmer the show does a really good job at like slowly building up the like murder because you know it's going to happen. There's little hints at it, whereas when characters know that they might be getting murdered, that's suspenseful. When it comes out of nowhere very quickly, it's more of a surprise and not as enjoyable for the audience, I don't think. And like, because that's what happens. We see him with the axe, we know he's gonna kill him, and then that's like, and it happens like that. It's not built up. Whereas like with Dahmer, you don't know, Dahmer's like he doesn't have any weapons with him. He does, but he's not holding one, or he's not. There's certain like there's a bunch of times in the film where he's not
Yeah, he
in the
just
show. He's just like
yeah, where he just grabs things and kills people.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's suspenseful, but you don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know because there's times in the show when it doesn't. But that's the difference because it's a show. There's different ways of building up that type of thing because you can have different episodes where certain things happen and
Yeah.
certain things don't. And and it's the difference between television show and a movie. But I feel like Dahmer did a really good job with that. And it's just kind of similar because it's murderers. So But yeah, like that was the one thing I had a problem. I don't know. Did you have any problems with the film?
No, I'd agree with you on like the long scene things that weren't like as gripping
Hmm.
or as important feeling as some of the other scenes.
Hmm.
But I don't think there was too, I didn't, obviously, I didn't care for that part, but I didn't think there was like too much of that in the film
Hmm.
overall.
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
think
again, no film is perfect. So this film definitely has its like down moments.
yeah, because you just like the on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like a 69% on yeah, it's got like a 69% or something like that. And I think, that's it's above like it's a good score, I guess. It's a decent score, but it
We
could
don't
be
listen to Rotten Tomatoes, so you know who
we
we listen to? There Will
there
Be
will be
Movie
movie
Reviews.
reviews. Yeah,
That's who we
exactly.
listen to.
Yeah, and we just know that Rotten Tomatoes do not speak facts. We are a Rotten Tomatoes hate club. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah. Hashtag
Yes, we
hashtag
do.
thank you, Ryan.
Hashtag thank you, Ryan.
I got that from another podcast. I saw that. So don't I thank you, hashtag thank you, Ryan, not TM or I don't know. But hashtag thank you, Ryan. There you go.
Hashtag thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. But no, we are not Rotten Tomatoes truthers here. We don't fuck with Rotten Tomatoes. So if you guys do, you guys can go to the fucking sun. All right. Like
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself
go
if you fuck with Rotten Tomatoes.
get fucked if you fuck with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Like
fuck you.
seriously, fuck you. Yeah. Just get the fuck out of here, my like 5 listeners. But no, but anyway, I guess we can discuss the ending of this film. I want to ask you this though before we get to the ending. Do you
Uh-huh.
think it is a delusion and in the mind of Patrick Bateman, the his murders and all these things that he's doing, or do you think that it is real? It was all real on them, all the murders.
I think some of it's a delusion
Yeah.
and some of it is real.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the things that we've seen throughout the whole movie have been real, but the ending is a delusion.
Oh, you think the end? What part of the ending do you think is a delusion?
Like most of it, where he's running around through the streets. He gets pulled over by the cops and he shoots the cop car and they explode. He just kills the guy at a
Mm,
hotel. It's just like crazy shit. He kills a girl with a chainsaw in his hotel lobby. He just goes on a rampage through the city. Like,
yeah,
how is he? How would that happen?
I
But
think
there's more. There's. It's like flipping a coin if it's a delusion or not. I feel like because there's another
no.
side to it.
Well, I think that a lot of it is. I think most of it is real. I think a lot of it's real. I think except the car. I think he's at a point in his life where he's just like his mind is like just making up shit for him. But I think he is killing those people.
Like
The
all the people in the ending scene
It's hard to say because again, that was the thing. I read something with the
dropping the
director.
chainsaw. He runs out butt ass naked and he drops the chainsaw on her. You
That
think
could
that's
definitely,
real?
I think it could have happened, but I really, what my thing is though, the director had no intention of, um, you know, telling us what the
Yeah,
ending is.
exactly. And that's
So
why it's such a good
it's
ending.
both. It's both. But I think a lot of it is real. Like I think he is doing it, but there is a part of it that is delusion that he wants it to be real. Anyone that comes in his way, he wants to fucking just kill. That's why he just kills those two guys randomly in the streets when he's running away from the cops. And
Yeah.
like that's why those things happen. But yeah, I guess we can get to yeah. Let's hear your take on the ending though, if you want to discuss.
So you see that and you think, holy fuck, that was crazy. There's no way that was real. You see him talking to his lawyer. His lawyer's like, no, he's saying all this weird shit. You're like, okay, there's no way it's real. He goes to the lady and she's like, I think you should leave. Nothing happened here. And it was Paul Allen's place for like sale. And it was all
Mhm.
white.
Mhm.
And you're just left with so many questions like, what the fuck just happened? Did
I
that happen or not?
mm,
And but see, the thing is with the lawyer said he saw Paul Allen in London 2 weeks ago. he was out for dinner with Paul Allen 5 days ago. And
But
that's what
the
Patrick
yeah,
Bateman's alibi was for the detective with William Dafoe. William Dafoe, incredible scenes with William Dafoe, by the way.
yeah.
Um, but you hear all this and you see the lady and she says, I think you should leave, as if she knows something happens. You can see the look in Patrick's eyes when she says that. He's really like concerned and like scared and uncomfortable from this lady. He just goes, he backs down. She says, I think you should leave. He says, okay, and leaves. It's just, he's so confused because even he doesn't seem to know, because his lawyer must have covered for him because everything was completely fine. Nobody was at Paul Allen's apartment. The lawyer must have made some calls and pulled Patrick out of the ditch. But at the same time, all that shit is
Ow.
way too ludicrous.
Yeah,
All that
that's
shit
hard
is way
to.
too ludicrous.
I don't know. I think he might, maybe he is like just helping. He found a way to just like push it under the rug, or like just like maybe he just doesn't want to associate himself with Patrick Bateman. So that's why he's doing that, to like, not have
Could
to
be,
deal with him.
who
And I
knows?
think, I think the scene where the lady's like, I think you should leave, is because she's trying to sell this like huge New York City house apartment building. So she wants to get that under the rug as much as possible. If she's going to sell this house, she doesn't want people to know that there was a dead body in here. So she definitely
Right.
got the body out and is trying. And so she knows that Patrick Bateman knows. So she's like, get the fuck out of here. You should go, because I don't want you ruining this. And that's kind of the problem with all these people, all these sales people, and all these people in corporate America, the douchebags that everyone cares about. And the only funny thing is, because nobody cares about any of the other deaths, the prostitute death, the homeless people's, obviously. But as soon as they get a sense, it's like Joker. As soon as they find out that this big white straight male corporate guy who makes, six figures, probably more than six figures every year, dies or goes missing, just missing. So that's the only reason that they care that Paul Allen is. They only care about that Paul Allen is missing, and I think it shows that all the characters kind of are the same. Like they're similar people, and that's part of one of the big themes about this film, is that they are the reoccurring theme um of American Psycho, is that people have this sort of evil inside that's hiding, that everyone has, because,
Society.
well, society, but but I'm saying, like, because this is from the think of this. This is from the perspective of Patrick Bateman. We're getting this from the perspective of Patrick Bateman. But and nobody around him really realizes that he is a killer other than Jane. Jane, who's his assistant, and understands that he's fucked up, really fucked up. And those are the people that he hasn't murdered yet. And the other thing is, though, we get an understanding probably that other people are also have these fucked up lives outside of work and outside of society, and that people around him are also putting on this persona and not really there either. They're not and he talks about this at the end, of how people around him are just as evil as he is, and how they are almost more evil, and he's exposed himself and exposed who he is, and it's almost hurt him more. And because he's the first person to really do that. And you see the other people around Patrick Bateman, and they're hiding secrets too, like the lawyer and the real estate agent at the house is obviously hiding stuff. And it just makes you wonder, what else are the other people hiding? And they're just like Patrick Bateman, because nobody gives a shit what Patrick Bateman is doing. So why should he give a shit about what they're doing in their background? Because he's so self-centered. Everyone around him is so self-centered.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Like,
that's so true. That's so true. You
you
hit
know
the
what
nail
you know what
right
I'm
on the
saying?
head with that one. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah. Like that, and that's what I think the main thing about the film is, because I've heard this before. It's about corporate greed, and just about like what society was like the show Mad Men. I don't know if you've heard. I bet you your dad's watched it or something, but it's it's like set in the 50s, around these corporate workers, and how they treat women with very disrespect. And 1950s, and how a lot of the business is just done at dinners. going out for these expensive dinners and going to strip clubs, and that's where they do all their deals and meetings, and that's how society worked back then. It was very interesting because almost none of the business was actually done in the office. It was done outside. And I think that's an interesting theme that they took, and aesthetic that they took, and that's something that's really interesting about the film, I think, and the ending of the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you have anything you would like to add on the ending of the film? I do have some questions, but I'd like to hear if you have any other interpretations.
No, I think I got my biggest point across earlier when I was talking about how like is it in his head, is it not? But I liked your synopsis of just kind of the meaning of the ending there,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah.
meaning of the ending. And that's the thing is that there's this whole conversation we've had about the ending. There's just so many different things to think about the ending, which makes it
Mhm.
so well written. It conveys themes and it asks questions at the same time. It's just
Mhm.
very incredibly well written.
It is. It is. It's well written. The book is really well written, and I've heard a lot of good things about the book.
I haven't heard really too much about the book.
But yeah, I have some notes that I want to add. I think. I mean, actually, if I run a couple down here, it gives him a piece also. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So one thing I wanted to, I love the cut from Patrick talking to the model. He's talking to the model when he goes outside the club, and she's like, "You think I'm dumb?" And he's like, "I don't think you're dumb." And she's like, "It's okay. I think you're sweet." And then and then they get in the cab, and then it just cuts right to him playing with the piece of her hair in his office. And he puts it in his like little nipple pocket. I
Yeah.
thought that would be so cool. I thought that was like just a really cool shot. Like it's
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah,
so it's so weird, bro, but it's so good.
yeah. And then let's see what else. He goes to um okay, yeah. So people, I said this before, but people ignoring him sort of gives him a piece of his own medicine because people don't care. Because when he killed the homeless man, like he feels himself as top dog, and then he kind of gets a piece of his own medicine as people don't really care that he's killing people to try and spoke on that. And what's interesting though is a really interesting character was Jean. I felt. Jean was a really interesting character in this because she's like the
Who's
only
Gene?
person
Oh, right, Gene. I thought you
she's
said
the only
yeah, yeah.
person where he kind of shows a
Oh
sense of
yeah,
like
she's so
care.
interesting.
She only shows us she's the only person that uh like cares about Patrick, and Patrick kind of cares about her. He actually stops himself from murdering her, which he
Yeah,
never does. He has no
yeah.
self or
He has no control. He
no
can't control
control.
himself.
Yeah, self-control. And yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I have some trivia. We can
Okay.
talk about trivia time. All right. During production, Christian Bale followed the morning routine that his character Patrick Bateman describes towards the beginning of the film. I don't know how you do that though. That'd be tough. Like the
Yep.
100 crunches.
Thought it
I
was a
could
thousand.
a
I can do
thousand.
almost a thousand.
Yeah. The single biggest cost on the film was purchasing the rights to the various songs used throughout. But that
Really,
was,
that's interesting.
yeah. During the shooting of the film, Christian Bale spoke in an American accent, offset at all times. And at the rap party, where he began to speak in the native Welsh accent, many of the crew thought he was speaking that way as an accent for another film. They had thought he was American throughout the entire shoot. Um, this one's kind of funny. During his big chainsaw scene, Christian Bale would happily, literally, hang out between takes wearing nothing but a sock over his penis and some tennis shoes.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Um, Christian Bale was warned by many that it would be a career suicide for him to play the lead in a film like this. This only made him more eager to take the part. Inspired by Nicolas Cage in Vampire's Kiss, fortunately for him, the opposite turned out to be true. Bale's role in the movie was considered a breakthrough performance and enabled him to shift his career from supporting roles to leading man status in the decades to come. This finally culminated in roles in the Batman and Terminator franchises, wide critical acclaim, as well as several movie award nominations, including an Oscar win. So good for Christian Bale, man. Good for him.
I just wish the Batman movies were more Batman-y. Those Batman
bro?
movies.
What are you talking about? They
More
are
Batman-y? No. I mean, they're super Batman-y, but I just wish we had more building of the character of Batman in that series.
Oh my god, what are you talking about? Have you seen the first Batman Begins? It is a perfect origin story of Batman. It shows him as a child, and oh my
Okay,
god.
not right now, not right now.
Okay, you just making stupid comments, that's all.
All right, okay. I just like, compared to the new Batman movie, it's so much more about Batman.
All right. Certain scenes in the book either had to be completely. What's the best line in the Dark Knight series? Sorry, I got distracted.
The best line?
Yeah.
I like a lot of the Joker scenes.
Or
I like when he talks about how it's not about money.
Or
not, it's about sending a message.
I want justice. No, does he even say that? I'm trying to think. I want justice. He says that in the Batman.
No, he is justice.
I'm not what the people need. You're garbage. You kill for money. I can't even do it. Where is she? Where's Rachel? I don't know. All right. And then certain scenes in the book either had to be completely removed or toned down for the film due to the graphic and extreme nature of the murders and torture scenes. There was a scene in the book where he goes to a zoo and kills a little kid.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Christian Bale insisted on getting Bret Easton Ellis's approval for his portrayal before filming and arranged a meeting. He's the guy who wrote the film, or wrote the book and the film, part of the film. Bill showed up to the meetings dressed and groomed as Patrick Bateman, even introducing himself as Patrick Bateman. After 10 minutes, Easton Ellis begged Bale to stop because his hands were shaking, and he could not take it anymore. Ellis has said it was the single creepiest moment of his life. He does, I think, embody him like very well. I bet you, I think the book like is the exact like total representation of like Christian Bale's character.
I wonder what Christian Bale freestyling as Bateman would be like.
It'd be interesting. For Willem Dafoe's scenes, Mary Herron instructed him to play each one in 3 different styles. One is if he, one is
I know this one. If he was suspicious, if he was a little bit suspicious, and if he was clueless.
No. It's one if he was
questioning or something.
No, if he was suspicious. 2 if he had no clue, and 3 if he. Oh yeah, never mind. It says 1 if he is suspicious, 2 if he has no clue, and then 3 as if he's undecided. I thought it was he knew it. He 100% knew was one of them, but it's not. But yeah,
I actually thought it was one of those too. That sounds right.
But here it says I've heard both actually. I saw a clip today, and then I also looked on IMDb. I got a question for you, which I was thinking about this. Do you think Leonardo DiCaprio was because he was up for this role and he turned it down because of the reason why Christian Bale took it? He thought this was going to be a career killer. He thought he would be typecast as these types of roles, and he thought it would just be a role that's too like. Because it's a role that's very specific. It's like Napoleon Dynamite, where it's just a character that's extremely, extremely notable and for its characteristics. And he would be known for it the rest of his life. And that was his fear. And so
what about Leo? I don't know. I think Leo's got some bangers.
But that's what the reason he turned it down.
He's got some. I feel like he's got some more defining bangers that wouldn't quite be. Like, I don't know if the Bateman role would have stood up.
I think because of this made me think Christian Bale's a better actor, because Christian Bale
100%.
decided he said, you know, fuck it. I don't care if this is a career killer, and look where it got him. He's not known as Patrick Bateman like I would say Steve Carell's known as like, or John Krasinski's known as Jim Halpert, or that like John Heder is known as Napoleon Dynamite. He's known as He's known as the Batman. He's known as Terminator, John Connor from the Terminator Salvation. He's known as
And he's known as Patrick Bateman for
and he's known
sure.
as Patrick Bateman. He's known as
But that's the
many.
thing. He's known as so many.
Yeah, he's known as he's like so many different characters. Like
And
it's
he took a role like Patrick Bateman and was able to stack it up there with Batman, Terminator roles, etc., etc.
this was like a totally career booster. Like it just made him totally totally up there with the high like greatest actors. Like and his devotion
Oh
to
yeah,
roles you've seen
sweating
probably.
on command in this
Yeah.
movie.
You
Sweating
see
on command.
oh yeah,
Insane.
I heard about that. And have you seen The Machinist?
No.
It's where he is this thin. It's like have you seen the photos probably of like look up after The Machinist and look up Christian Bale in like a shirt or something. He's like 110 pounds. It is disgusting. Like, or it's
Oh yeah, he's
not
like really
disgusting.
committed to
It's just like crazy how skinny. It's like it's
Oh
really, really scary.
Jesus. That's
Yeah. That's he yeah, I know. That's how skinny he got. He like is like 110 pounds.
yeah,
It's
and then
crazy.
he comes out as Bale and he's like Patrick Bale or Patrick Bateman, I mean.
Yeah,
Comes out as
but that
Bateman.
that the other funny thing, crazy thing about that, The Machinist was filmed in 2004, and the Batman or Batman Begins filmed in 2005, and he's yoked in Batman Begins. He's huge.
Yeah.
It's just
Wait, when
crazy.
did this one come out?
The Machinist,
Yeah.
2004.
And then no way, the Batman came out 2005.
Yeah, it's
How did he
crazy.
do that?
That's dangerous as fuck too. It's like it because you can get like that. That's what happened to Tom Hanks when he did Castaway. Have you seen that? He did that.
I
He had
haven't
to
seen Castaway now.
well he had to get he was like bigger and then he had to lose like so much weight and it caused him to get diabetes because he was fluctuating like the levels of food like crazy and it like fucked with his like system and his glucose and shit like that. So it's just wild. But yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end it off on the discussion of diabetes. So
Of course.
I think that sums it up. Cole, thank you so much for coming on this episode.
Thank you for
I
having me,
hope you
Ryan.
enjoyed yourself. Yeah, it was a great time,
Happy
and
to talk about this
yeah,
movie.
it really is a good movie. It is a good discussion. I feel like, I mean, maybe I did talk a little bit more at times, but just because I really really like this
Well,
movie.
you're the host, you know. I'm on the
That's,
show. I'm here to give my feedback, but you're the host.
it's the way it goes sometimes, you know. I
Not
really
the way
like
she
this
goes.
movie. I
We should do a Trailer Park Boys podcast.
we should absolutely should. I think we should get a little Miguel in that podcast, just because I like a little
Miguel?
Miguel Gaston.
Oh, Miguel Gaston.
I would like to him just have a little like 15-minute like of fame, come in, dip out, and then but yeah,
Yeah,
just
on
yeah,
TPB.
yeah,
All
that'd
right,
be sick.
everybody, look out for it. Look
All
out
right.
for it in the
Cheers.
future.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. Remember to like,
Cheers.
subscribe. I will see you guys next week for an episode with Arshak and Adrian. See you guys.